Stop tuning cars until you understand this simple concept. What is injector differential pressure? What is injected pressure? What is effective pressure? They pretty much mean all the same thing. Let me explain. Differential pressure simply means the difference between your fuel rail pressure and the pressure in your intake manifold. On a properly set up fuel system, you're going to have a fuel pressure regulator and one with a 1-to-1 reference on it. So what that means is you have your fuel going into the rail, it comes out of the rail and goes to your fuel pressure regulator, and from the regulator it goes back to your tank. And then you also have a vacuum line that would attach from your intake manifold to the fuel pressure regulator. Your boost and vacuum reference regulator is crucial to making the system work properly. Its job is to keep this differential pressure constant. So what I mean is, let's pretend you have 50 psi of base fuel pressure. If we didn't have that regulator and you tried to run 50 psi of boost, you will effectively have zero fuel pressure because you have 50 psi pushing fuel into this injector and you have 50 psi of boost pushing on the bottom of the injector. So now you have zero fuel pressure. Your car won't run. The regulator on hand, because it has that boost reference going to it, if you apply 50 psi of boost to the regulator, it's going to raise the pressure on the rail by 50. So now you have 100 psi of rail pressure, 50 psi of boost, and your differential pressure remains at 50. The same would happen in vacuum or idle in an engine. You have 50 psi of rail pressure, and let's say at vacuum you have 5 psi of vacuum. That 5 psi is going to be pulling fuel out of this injector. So without the regulator, your differential pressure would be 55. But because you have that regulator vacuum referenced, it's going to lower the pressure in this rail by 5 to offset the vacuum that's being pulled on this injector. So now that you understand that, you can better tune your vehicle and input fuel pressure data. So this is a Haltech, for example. We can see here that if you set your base fuel pressure or differential pressure to 44.1, it tells the ECU that your injectors flow 970 cc's per minute. And in a perfect world, you can just leave this one cell and not have to worry about anything. However, there are situations where your differential pressure is going to change. So if your fuel pumps are overrunning your regulator and your regulator can't return enough fuel, your differential pressure is going to increase. And if your fuel pumps can't keep up with the demand, your differential pressure is going to drop. And I can show you examples of both of those. So here we can see a dyno run where the injected or differential pressure starts at 50 psi, and then by the end of the run, the differential pressure drops to 40 psi. And we can see that the flow rate of the injector goes roughly from 2100 cc's down to 1935 cc's. And because we have a fuel pressure sensor, the ECU can see this and compensate for it. This example, we see the opposite. This car has a mechanical pump. At the start, we have 52 psi differential pressure, and by the end, we have 62, 63 psi. This is because this regulator is too small for the pump, and it cannot return enough fuel.